Hello everyone, I am Pragna R. In this video, we will learn about food chain. What is food chain? The food chain is a linear sequence of organisms where nutrients and energy is transformed from one organism to another. This occurs when one organism consumes another organism. It begins with the producer organism, follows the chain, and ends with the decomposer organisms. Then, which of the elements are present in a food chain? It starts from the sun, producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and lastly, the decomposers. Let us learn one by one. First one is it's a form of energy that produces light and heat. Hope you all know this one. Yes, it is exactly the sun. Sun is a form of energy that produces light and heat. It is very important for the process of photosynthesis. Producers. The producers in a food chain include all autotrophs such as phytoplankton, cyanobacteria, algae, and green plants. This is the first stage in a food chain. The producers make up the first level of a food chain. The producers utilize the energy from the sun to make food. The producers are also known as autotrophs, as they make their own food. Producers are any plant or other organisms that produce their own nutrients through photosynthesis. Producers means those organisms which are capable of preparing their own food. For example, algae and all the green plants. Consumers. Consumers are all organisms that are dependent on plants or other organisms for food. This is the largest part of a food web, as it contains almost all living organisms. It includes herbivores, which are animals that eat plants, carnivores, which are animals that eat other animals, parasites that live on other organisms by harming them, and lastly, the scavengers, which are animals that eat dead animal carcasses. There are three types of consumers. First one is the primary consumer. The organisms that eat the producers are called primary consumers. They are called as herbivores. Examples for primary consumers are cow, rabbit, horse, and deer. The next one is secondary consumers. There are organisms that eat primary consumers for energy. These can either be carnivores or omnivores. Examples include lion and shark. Tertiary consumers. These organisms are carnivores and omnivores that eat secondary consumers. Examples eagle and the wolf. Decomposers. Microorganisms that break down the complex organic compounds present in dead plants and animals and their products, such as feces and urine, into simpler substances are called decomposers. The example includes bacteria and fungi. The trophic levels in a food chain. The producers forms the base of the food chain. Then comes primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and the quaternary consumers. Then, which are the types of food chain? There are two types of food chain. The first one is grazing food chain. Grazing food chain means here the food chain starting from the leaf. The leaf is fed up by the caterpillar and the caterpillar is fed up by chameleon. A chameleon is eaten up by the snake, and later the snake is eaten up by mongoose. Observe here, this type of food chain is starting from a producers. That means the food chain which start from the producers are called as grazing food chain. And another type of food chain is detritus food chain. Detritus food chain means it starts with the dead organic matter, which is eaten up by the decomposers and later on the detritivores and by the sparrow. Here, this type of food chain doesn't start with the producers. What is the significance of food chain? The knowledge of food chain helps in understanding the feeding relationship as well as interaction between organism and ecosystem. It helps in understanding the mechanism of energy flow and circulation of matter in ecosystem. It also helps in understanding the movement of toxic substances and the problems associated with biological magnification in the ecosystem. I hope all of you understood what is food chain, the elements present in the food chain, the trophic levels, the types of food chain, and the significance of food chain. And thank you for watching my video.